All right. Fantastic opportunity today. We got, and I've said this before, we have a legend within our midst, Coach DJ Nimphius. Of course, my esteemed host, Coach Derek Depascale. Both, by the way, obviously, we're going to talk about the evolution of the run and shoot offense and some principles associated with that. DJ just came off a great run this year, although obviously he's won so many state championships. I can't even count it. What is it between Glen Rock and Riverdale? What, close to 10 maybe? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's funny. I think some of the kids that I coached in track at Glen Rock and Riverdale kind of got on me. I guess they saw a piece of this. So, because we always kid around that, they ask about these state sectional championships, and you coach girls. I mean, and if they're like, well, how come we don't get rings, and how come they get rings? I'm like, I was never in charge of that. And so I guess the number was we did it one day. We sat down, and because I wasn't sure. I think it's close to sectional championships, 2 rings on each digit between track and football.
Incredible.
Yeah. Well,
that's amazing.
Yes.
So so I jumped and track at Riverdale, so I got to jump on that bandwagon for a while too. So that didn't hurt. That didn't hurt to count, I guess. But we didn't win it. We didn't win anything this year. We didn't win the division. We were in probably the best Group 3 division in the entire state. I mean,
absolutely.
When they got down to the 2 sectional finals of Group 3, 3 to 4 finalists were from our division.
Yeah.
What was interesting too. So you're Old Japan won that whole state.
Yeah.
That whole state group. And it's funny because this year, like, I had been helping them out, but this year I only did 1 game, so I get no claim at all to anything. Right. I only had time to help with 1 game. But I helped out for the last several years. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'll ride that bandwagon. All that does is start winning a lot of championships, and it's so interesting because we've talked about in the past. I always think that place is in a unique spot where they're just tucked away a little bit far enough where those guys are like, I got to drive 30 minutes to go here or 45 minutes to go there. I ain't gonna do it. Whereas you are in the Lions Den.
Yeah, we are.
You're right smack dab in the middle of everything.
Yeah, we are. They're right down the street. It's a funny story. I got to tell you guys, this is great because, Vito's such a good coach. And,
yes, he is.
I mean, coming into this year, he's won so many championships and he's so good with the kids. And he's your age, Dave. I mean, he's an incredible person, But unfortunately for Vito, he's 2-4 against the Golden Hawks, And
that's right. The Westwood days.
Little Westwood action, right? Little Westwood action.
Yesterday he went to 2-5 because I was like, I got nothing to do. I'm retired. So I get out my phone and said, Vito, there's a coach here. Please send your address at Bergen Catholic Street address because there's a coach here from Alabama who I think he's at the wrong school. So he sent back, really, what school? And then I didn't respond to him. So that's nice. Another loss for Vito.
It's a win for you.
We got to take those wins as we can over there at the public school.
They came to you to Alabama came to you to see who you have.
Well, they came in. All of a sudden they found out the place is a great time. They didn't leave, but there was really nobody there from Alabama. So kind of fictitious character.
It's funny. You were talking in the pre thing, Derek, about Liberato. I just said, like, Liberato, when we went to the state championship, the team we played was Summit, which was Liberato. And that was just his son's team. And so his son was playing on it. So he was always good before, always. But his son's team had every one of his, friends growing up. They were all on that same team. And they beat us. And they ran. It was amazing. They ran 5 plays. And it was literally.
That's it.
Play 1, play 2. Play 3, play 4, play 5. And the kids would be like, hey, I know what play they're running. I'm like, well,
that's great.
How about we stop it?
Yeah, exactly.
How about we stop it?
I was I was introduced.
What play 3 is, okay? Since we know
I got introduced to him when he was still at Hanover Park. I was a freshman. I was an incoming freshman, possibly quarterback to be. And that was my introduction. being a run and shoot quarterback was mini camp at Hanover Park with Coach Liberato. And then come full circle, he coached me as a DB in the North-South game. And it was, just, I'm like, buddy, like, he's like, yeah, remember when you were, and it's like, oh God, but what a great coach, dude. And he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, so let's we got thanks to Coach Nimphius. We have some huddle film that we'll pull up here, and this is your quarterback, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, and I think what you'll see on the film, guys, is when people watch this or are interested, I consider us not a dial play team, but we're pretty flexible in terminology and application to the players, and the foundation, I think, is no surprise. Again, is run and shoot and triple option, and we try to be different so people can have a little different time preparing for us, because it seems like there's a lot of similarities in people. Again, your talent trumps scheme every time. But
every time.
You'll see we do some pretty interesting things with the guys that we've had. This was a pretty veteran team, and including going back under the center quite a bit. And so we're a lot more compress, expand stuff for a variety of reasons. So if you want to put something on, I will speak about it from the standpoint of how we got to that point.
Can you, all right, just want to make sure we could see it, and I'll freeze it here.
Now, Coach, I love the under center stuff, right? Because you don't really see guys do it anymore. I mean, you're seeing guys in victory formation going pistol, right? It's like, buddy, that's a little risky. But, I mean, hey, it's really kind of the whole evolution of guys getting away from being under center, especially, with the spread game in recent years becoming the way it has. You don't really see a lot of it. And some of these quarterbacks, even now, NFL guys, high-level college guys, have never been under center.
Yeah. I think if you're looking at under center, if you guys are really looking to somebody interesting too, I would make a phone call to Mendham and talk to Ethan Jaros and his staff, because what they're doing in the triple option just from the line of scrimmage alone is just fascinating. I have not seen that at any level, which is, again, I don't want to get off track here, but
right.
They're people say, well, you're old school crabbing forward. I said, no, what's most fascinating is who's ever coaching their line. The first thing people say when you play against a triple option team is they're post chopping.
Yeah, they're high-lowing.
I said they're not. I said they have kids who come off the ball so violently that they're shoulder blocking and breaking defensive linemen in half at the waist.
Yeah.
It is violent.
We used to see it every time when we would see Morris Knowles and Coach Regan.
This is unbelievable what they're doing. So, I mean, and they're highly effective. I mean,
it's nice to see Mendham back on track.
They're good and they're so well coached, but that was a fantastic game we played against them. But all right, David, what do you want to put on?
And I think you won that game, right?
We did win that game.
Of course he did.
Yes, we did.
Of course he did. What are we doing?
Let me bring up positivity, Coach. All right, here we go. I just tell me when you want me to freeze it, because I can see
that's on you. So we'll just go to the formation, get the discussion, and then people could watch the play.
All right, let me see if I could turn the sound off here for that. Okay, good. All right, here we go.
Okay, hold it up. All right, so we're in just what we would call a doubles banjo set, which is 2x2, and both slots on the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Both flankers off the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's unusual now. Some of it's via learning stuff from Drew Gibbs.
Yes, that he always did it that way.
Well, which
and we never did it that way.
Yeah, but he did it with I guess the idea that you get clear outs and moving picks underneath where you had the vertical. I think you saw Old Japan try to run that against Mainland. It was an interception where you have a guy running even a switch concept and running the kid underneath and hitting him right in the dime there. But for us, this is probably more likely because they're in a too high set. So we're just going to run a quarter beaters here, which is essentially, pushing to the safety with the on the line of scrimmage slot, hooking them up, maybe getting the safety downhill and getting the corner who's in quarters to have to defend the post.
Got it.
And he'll do it off a ride because he'll want to freeze the linebackers.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And get them downhill. Now, I think this film has a end zone shot off it too. Okay, and that's
this has got to be. Who are you playing here, Nutley?
This is the opening game, it's Nutley. So
yes, it is.
Just to give you an idea, I mean, the quarterback's 5'6" and 165 pounds. He got his ankle torqued in like the second or third game, I think, and he played on one leg for much of the season. He missed 3.5 games, and that hurt us. And the receiver is R.J. Weiss, who's going to be a Division III kid. Zion, the quarterback's got another year. All right, here we're.
Coach, what do you just before we get? What are you telling him on his drop? Like, what's his launch point?
His launch point for him, because of his body type, there's times in the quick game he'll be catch and throw, but Derek, he ends up being a quick 3 off the ride.
Got it.
All right. He has fantastic feet, and it's very interesting to him as you coach quarterbacks. Zion's feet kind of go out to 10-2. All right. Did that make sense to everybody?
Right. Yeah, of course.
And so he's always planted. He's very strong from the waist down, like ridiculously strong. So one of the things about when he plays and he's healthy, his feet are always in the ground. And Dave, you notice a running back, his feet never come together. So when the back's feet come together, they're in a bad spot. So his base is really
no balance.
Yeah, his base is like freaky powerful.
He's got a natural base to him.
He does. He's a 400-pound squat kid, and that's not just a brag thing. I mean,
I was just going to say, I know he's got to have a good squat.
That's his body type. I mean, he's very good in the weight room, and
he looks like a little smaller version of the guy who was, you might say might have been your best QB ever at Riverdale, David, right?
He's similar. I mean, David's different. I mean, because David liked to eat, so David would get a little heavy sometimes, But
don't we all?
Yeah, David would play in college at 180 and play in high school at 195. Not many guys do that, He goes, Coach, I'm gonna get hit a lot here, man, so I'll put some weight on. But then here we're underneath the center in a compressed set, which is some of our option principles. And the idea is, again, if you guys look at the defense, and this is against Paramus, is guys don't generally understand I shouldn't say understand. Leverage changes dramatically when you're in compressed sets.
Absolutely.
And I always equate it with the wing T when you play against the nub side, especially to the tight end only side. Why is that kid always open on the bootleg to the corner? I think it's because guys lose their leverage. So this forces a change in leverage. And essentially for us, and this time we're in one back, because we do a lot of this as no back compressed. This just changes leverage points. So, and again, it's a pocket presence thing for him, but it opens the field up.
Oh, yeah, he's got some wiggle.
Well, the escape routes become so much easier.
Well, he's coached to know. Hold on for a second on this one. So Zion's coached, I think, like most quarterbacks. I was just watching some Division III film because my friend's the head coach at Susquehanna, and too many kids try to.
Oh, they're having a nice run.
They're good. I was at the game last week against Hobart.
Excellent game.
The quarterbacks have to understand most of their escape routes are through an A gap and I'm not just talking about getting out of there, but their vision doesn't change much. And I was just watching a quarterback from St. John's, Minnesota, and they're real good. His escape routes are outside, which could lead him. I mean, they could put it on Susquehanna for all I know, but his escape routes are outside. So he really narrows that field. So if he launches one, there's a lot of angles where college DBs will pick balls off, where guys look wide open because of that. Or even linebackers expanding, coming underneath stuff because, they're college kids.
Yeah, all those guys can run now.
Yeah,
they're running that direction that you're running.
Correct. So, and they're not necessarily in your vision when you first throw the ball.
Correct.
But they come
right. They kind of come into that screen late.
Yeah, they come inside out, especially the linebackers from let's say inside the hash towards the numbers, and you never see them. And they pick that off. They pick it off easily.
Yeah,
it's not a tough play for a college kid. So we're in a compressed set here with no backs.
Empty.
All right, it's empty. So what it does is it leads to essentially the defense. And this is against Old Japan. So I mean, the fact that Zion found some film that was good against Old Japan is fantastic. So if Joe Klaus watches this, he's going to be, you got to be kidding me. We beat them. They scored once.
Oh, we're working on it. We got to get them back.
I can hear Joe now. Like, you scored against the damn JV. I mean, so
yeah.
Well, Joe wants a Corvette to come on. So, Joe, like he's like, what do I get to come on the podcast? I'm like, you get a high five.
Just tell him to go to Shriver's and run up a tab like he always did when he was coaching with us, and then turn to me and say, "You got this, right?"
Yeah, you're like, I guess so.
Yeah. All right. So there's your look. We gave them a lot of unbalanced shift out of two tight ends too. We actually moved the ball pretty well on them for about a quarter and a half, and then they realized they can just run us over. But yeah. So this is just a compressed set, and we're no back.
See, he's in an odd front.
He's in the odd stack, but he kicks it a lot. You know that. I mean,
are you using the motion? Because you use a lot of motion. Do you use that to try and get people, to move in one direction or the other from a leverage standpoint? Are you looking to see if they're playing for yourself, zone or man? How are you using motion to help you?
I'll start that with an overall yes. All right, to see if we're getting man zone or who's the fixer.
Right.
The fixer. Are they inverting / reverting? There's a lot that goes on there, but it doesn't. Most teams only have one check. All right.
Correct.
Now we will retrace motion, things like that. We'll reset the back. We'll reset the back, which I got from Tony in our conversations last year, Tony DeMeo. Yeah. So it's all of the above, and I think Joe's playing this a little bit more like 5-2 with just an umbrella.
Correct. Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, his whole thing now is big. He's big on the 3-4. That 3-4.
A lot of teams have gone to that odd front because it allows you to have that extra guess, like tweener type of safety rover back that can do things.
Yes. Now you'll see us actually. Now this is against Parsippany Hills.
Okay.
So they're also in essentially it looks like a 3-4. They had some kids that caused us problems. They were not as good as they've been.
New head coach.
Yeah, I think there was some of that too, but they were pretty physical with us. But
always were. They were always a nasty group. Like it didn't matter what year it was. They always had one of those guys.
So run that back, Dave. So if you just run it back to the beginning on this, okay. So just right there, all right. So this is, and again, I'm certainly not trying to coach other coaches, but this would be in the world of RPO because our quarterback Zion Yoon here. His eyes are going away from the ride. All right. So his eyes are there. So this is a basic run and shoot vertical concept. All right. Where we're trying to get kids down the railroad tracks and make the easy start. Now, what he is instructed to do, which he has struggled with, is he has a tendency to pass the ball too far down the hash mark or even outside. So this should be, if we took the three types of passes, just a flat drive throw and a short pass, a high shoulder.
Like I call it a 1.
Yeah, this is an in-between throw. This should be
a 2.
Yeah, he should be putting this thing, like this thing should be in that kid's hands when he catches it, I believe, at 12 to 14 yards, at the latest 14 yards. Because otherwise, you're starting to get into the safety ends up winning the leverage.
Yeah. Oh, you want? Like I was saying, it's that in between throw, right? That over the linebacker before the safety. Now.
Well, the way go ahead, David.
No, this is an eyeball throw, right? Meaning he's throwing it to his eyeballs, his head, his helmet, right?
Yeah. Well, way we'll teach this drill is we put him on the 12-yard line in practice.
Okay.
And he's got to make this drive throw down the tracks. Or slightly outside, that's what we call the hash marks, the tracks, as they enter the end zone.
Okay.
Because if you give them too much space, they're going to get reward on air. But here it's forced. They'll throw the ball to the end zone. So even against air or against the one high or two high ghost safety in practice, I don't want them to get positive reinforcement that they haven't earned.
Got it.
So take a look at that. Yeah.
And especially as a wideout, you want that ball to your chest or your head so I can catch, tuck, and be ready to. I'm expecting contact from the safety at some point.
But so what you're talking about is you really want that there a little earlier, right?
I want about the 23-yard line. If we ran it back and we saw the yard line where the play started, that would probably be helpful. Okay, so my guess is 45th. He's got to be at about the
46.
45.
This should be in number 4, who's Tyler Datz. He's a little Riverdale rug rat. He should have the ball by the 34-yard line, 32 at the latest.
Okay,
I would think. Somewhere right in there. But right now, yeah, he should. Yeah, he should. You can't see my pointer, but he should have the ball. So maybe it's on the 46 there. So 46, 14. He should have the ball certainly by the 30-yard line. It's too late. I mean, he's hospitalized.
Now you get that ball sooner. One, it allows you to catch, tuck, and get contact. Or if you get it sooner, now you're catching, stick my foot in the ground, and I'm across that safety's face, and I have no contact whatsoever.
Well, there's an answer to that too, Derek, and you know that from playing in a run shoot. Just sit down and make him throw it at your face.
Yep.
We don't have a quarterback.
Yep, right now. And now I can catch, and I have here we go. We still have a first, and we're rocking. But also, when that receiver needs to look for that ball, like he's going to be looking as soon as he passes those linebackers, correct?
Yeah. I would think when Tyler Datz was running that route, he's like, I'm going to get killed because now you're going to have safeties corners who are playing the divider coming off too.
We'll sit in there for a while. Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So and now I can come off that outside receiver and go jump that.
Yeah, and I think again, you guys can review this as you'd like. I mean, another time, but you see, Zion needs to get the ball out faster.
Got it.
Right.
He kind of hitches up. Okay, so this is a tight end empty set, and what we'll do is we move kids around. All right, so this is our best guy, RJ Weiss, and he'll line up anywhere. I mean, we had to play quarterback for us 3 games because Zion got hurt.
Do you call him the H-back in this set, Coach?
This for us is, as David knows, this is what we call a doubles rod.
Right.
All right. Okay. So, and now if it's a tight end, it would be more like this would be because our tight end to the right is in a right set. So a right would mean we have a tight end right and a flanker right, and we have twins to the left. So this would be we definitely have 3 guys over here, I guess. So this also could be right rip. So this is a doubles rod or a right rip.
Okay.
And the kids think we're giving different formations, same thing, but you know what I mean.
Right.
That's all the same. Right. Just attach, detach is what it is.
Okay. This is the Westwood game. And Amir Sadar is running the defense, and he's really good. So what they do is interesting. He looks like he's playing like a 3-1 with the kid stacked behind the linebacker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So our thought was we needed to we'll call him a robber, the extra guy. Because the middle linebacker we felt as though was a blitzer. So we treated him as part of the protection.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you almost account for him as another defensive lineman.
Right. And the best player is obviously the robber. I mean, they're really well coached. And it's I think it's the Klein kid, number 3. He's back. He's very, very good. So we needed to put number 3, who's the robber, in conflict. So we wanted to sit somebody down in front of him and run somebody beyond him before he got to the safeties.
Do you want that low man to be even lower than he is? So there's more.
What ends up happening? We need him to get covered.
Right. Okay.
We need him to get covered, and they're chasing here.
You want that middle linebacker to jump that, so that route over the top can sit there.
Well, this route here is a divider, but the kid who sits down inside, the lower kid, he's really got a 3-way go. He can go to the left, to the right, or come back downhill. So if Zion like he's just dropping it right. In other words, if he gets in front of the robber, he's open. He's throwing ball. But he puts this thing on a
100%.
Yes, great throw.
I mean,
he ropes this thing in there. That's a tiny window.
Right. Okay. So
Mendham.
This is Mendham. All right. And again, we're getting some things where we think inside linebackers are flying out. All right. So this is not new. We don't play.
We like playing you in this 3. Everyone likes playing you in a 3-4, huh?
Everybody plays you in an odd front, Coach.
I think a lot of guys started to do some things this year because they knew Zion was hurt. So his ability to run wasn't where it was,
Right. They didn't have to worry about that.
And honestly, he got hurt on a play where when the play was over, when he was getting up, kid got up and on the film, he just torques his ankle. I mean, there's a lot of that junk going on now because the game's out. The game's not. Oh yeah,
Wall SJV game. I mean, Coach, street fight's not the word. It was incredible. It was unbelievable the shit that was going on before, after, during. I mean, look, you're seeing it in college football now too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and guys don't quite understand that. And I just want to tell the coaches with this, and our kids are not without sin on that either. But I tell them, look, it's hardly heroic. I mean, you're not being a tough guy there. Yeah. But anyway. So here's the concept here. Again, we're being what we call a doubles link here. Now
Right.
Tyler Dax is the link back. All right. And we're going to be in a space. We like to throw the ball vertically. Zion's taught something very basic. I think all quarterbacks are. If the linebackers are out, there's no need for quarterback draw call. If you feel like you can go.
Right.
Now this is 3rd and 2. Now I don't know what play number this is on my film. You're looking at it, but there's got to be a reason we're doing this on 3rd and 2. But let's take a look at it. All right.
Is this wing back here, Coach? Is he outside that tight end?
Yes. Well, he's outside. He's outside of tackle.
Tackle, dude. There's no
Right.
side.
But you're telling him his inside foot is splitting that guy's.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a couple. No. What am I telling him? Let's run that back. You go forward. I'm telling him just get yourself an ability to release, and I trust him on the releases.
And that's why I'm asking, right? Because you want him to get out cleanly and not have to worry about all that junk in there. You know, if the DN makes a nice play and jacks the tackle into him, now essentially he's eliminated from the whole concept.
Yeah, he can line up in here if he wants. I don't care. I mean, I tell Tyler he can line up here and call your motion. He's got to get out. All right. So here's the thought here. There's a few things you can tell people. This guy, see the umpire? He's always wide open. He's always wide open. So when in doubt, find the umpire, run there. You'll be wide open. I tell the kids.
Absolutely.
All right. The second thing is teams are starting to punish themselves on defense because they're playing in all this 7-on-7 stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it becomes wall off. And, it's like running down on a kickoff when you're a receiver. Just play off butts. Run to asses.
Yes.
So you'll watch them. They're going to wall off, which leaves a lot of room in the middle. And we like to attack the middle of the field because it's a very direct pass. All right.
Correct.
So you'll see him do this. I think RJ, who's a slide over to the top of the screen, is going to find a hole. No, that's Tyler. That's Tyler. We ran the same thing.
He's putting this thing in windows. Holy shit.
Well, if you look at it again, there's Tyler, the kid that asked where was the line. Watch him go find space. Boom, cross his face. He's about to cross his face. Bang. And that's the vertical concept. But, we don't.
That's literally that's like day 101 of learning to run and shoot and being a receiver in it. Find green grass and sit or go, right? Depending on coverage. But it's really kind of that simple. Like if you're supposed to be running a vertical and there's a guy over the top of you, sit. You know what I mean? I think guys.
Tyler Datz is extremely gifted. So it was a lot of it was tell everybody has to be kind of on their route. And Tyler gets more autonomy than the other guys.
Do you do it now where most of the guys have to run their direct route, or you allow a level of choice depending on the person?
I would rather have a lot more choice.
Okay.
We didn't get the ball to Tyler enough. I don't think our kids, generally speaking, and kids today.
Yes.
Because I'll give you an example. Because in our school, and I don't mind saying this publicly, they want kids playing basketball all year round. So
that's hard. It's tough.
So if you eliminate our freshmen playing basketball right now, 10 through 12 in our school, we only have 4 kids playing basketball.
Okay.
And that's inexcusable at Riverdale. So my point is, if you're going to give them a lot of choice, they don't understand that choice.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
So they're pretty robotic. Okay, so here's against PV. I call them the Hornets.
Because you had to play the other PV the next round.
Oh, yeah, so these are the Hornets all week, so we wouldn't screw it up. So we motion out, and they're really interesting, right? Because what a lot of teams are doing to us, and more teams are doing, is they're zoning you down by the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to always be inside the 10. You're going to see, let's run some crossers, some mesh, some pick concepts. Now teams just sit there, and it's difficult.
No, I think it's easier.
Yeah, I think
for us, offensively.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because if the kids understand space.
Correct.
Hold on a second, right there. So my point is the kids understand space. Like 34 is coming across the field here, and he's really a linebacker and a short yardage back for us. He's a fantastic athlete. He was a 3-year starter middle linebacker. You probably know his name, David, Mason Nagel. He's excessively bright. He's an outstanding baseball player. He's going to Williams. All right.
Nice.
Now, but Mason should be in the pivot right now. He has seen him. He should pivot. He should pivot upfield, and Zion's pass would be through his mask, tighten through his mask up the field. So he should be running at this linebacker and then pivoting and spinning upfield. All right. But you'll see number 6 come across. He's going to put his hand up because he's always open. See 6? 6 is coming across like, yeah, throw it to me. And Zion's like, no, we're going to put a kid underneath the goalpost, and that's RJ because he's got the goalpost. All right. We have a lot of guys open here.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, you have multiple guys. He has 3 options here to throw the ball.
And that's the outside guy that's
sitting. Be in.
Is that the outside guy that's sitting under the goalpost?
That's the kid. If you run it back, RJ, if you go back a play, I give this kid credit, man. And he's the widest kid, yeah, because Chris Kelm's going in motion, which I think for a lot of guys is a good concept, and nobody goes with him. Just throw him the ball. All right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what a lot of the end zone offense does. They do that all the time.
Yes.
You'll use that back all the time. Hey, this is an easy, and it's once you get comfortable with that throw, it's not a very difficult throw. It is initially, but until you get your feet right. But I mean, look, there's a guy there. You have this one here. There's guys all over.
But again, Zion's got great pocket presence. So
yeah, I mean, this is a hell of a throw. He's off balance there, throwing off 1 foot, and still puts that thing on a dime.
But that's easy throw. I mean, he does this all the time. I mean, okay. Again, I give this kid a lot of credit. These guys are flat out good. This is Pascack Valley. I don't know.
Wow.
And I think it's the playoff game.
They have some big kids.
Yeah, and we don't. They move the line of scrimmage. Here's what I'll say about PV. Schematically, I really like what they're doing. Their players are really good. They're physical. And you can see on the snap, they change the line of scrimmage immediately. Now here's an interesting.
Look at that knockback.
Look, they beat us up. They outcoach us. They beat us up.
I mean, they're in the backfield now.
Well, we lose this game 38-0. They get a pick at the end of the game. All right, they're better than us. We're not in the same class with PV and Old Span. But just so you look at the 4th and whatever, right? We went for it 7 times on 4th down inside our own 50. We went for it 6 times. We were 6 for 6. All right. And it weren't really easy plays. And then we went for it 1 time inside the 15, and we didn't get it going in.
Oof.
So we were 6 for 6 on 4th down inside our own 50. It was the only way we could stay in the game.
Yeah, of course.
And again,
four downs to get 10 is a lot easier than 3.
And again, he sees things well, and he finds people. And
good adjustment by receiver.
Yeah, and this is our movement into the end zone. Okay, this is Nutley. Okay, we're probably in just a base double set or trips.
I like the wide splits.
Yeah,
do you ever use any more? So I know you always like the wide splits. Do you ever use any condensed splits to do anything?
Yeah, we use smart splits. Where we see it. I mean, you can see 56, who's a solid player, somewhat limited, and he's looking inside. So I mean that's not a great thing. They're trying to give us double ones.
Yeah,
and maybe send a linebacker out of it. But at this point, Zion's really healthy. So
this is his first game, you said, so he's good to go.
Yeah. Are they doing this because you have more space?
Yeah, probably the wide splits. I was just going to ask that, Dave. Good question.
I don't know. We're moving the ball so well in this game. I'm not really paying attention to defense.
Right.
I got to be honest.
It's a nice pickup by the back.
Jeez. Yeah.
Boom. Thank you.
That was.
But again, run it back again. That's a quarter beater that you saw earlier.
Oh.
If you run it back, it's. You see the safety there. We're going to hook on him, and we're going to get the corner on Allen. Yeah. Now, before you start thinking that's like really, cutting edge, people are doing the same thing by hooking on the corner and running the China or the shake route on the safety.
Right.
Both are good.
Are they playing too high here, this wide?
Yeah. Is this wide? That's the safety.
That's an easy split.
The numbers.
Ball's on the hash. So
that's an easy split too. They give you that easy split.
Yeah, well,
right down the middle.
Yeah, I think right now the slot's saying, "Coach, let me just shake this kid." And
look, I mean, it's essentially a one-on-one play.
But it's Nagel, and we're not throwing the ball at him. So
Right. When he comes down, you go right over the top. So it's what you got, double post, like a low post, high post.
So, it's a double post, a mirror play. Yeah. But he can deliver the ball. I mean, okay, this is against Paramus, so he's still healthy. So we are in a double set here. We got a Banjo to one side, and now we're motion in the back. This kid's going to be a good player, number 5. He's going to be a junior next year. He's a really good player, as Jaden Kemp.
Oh, he's like a sophomore?
Number 5.
He's a monster.
Who, 5? No, run 5.
Yeah, how big
5.
is he?
He's a Riverdale kid. He's 155 pounds. We had no monsters. But he's a good player. But here you go. So, again.
He'll bite your face off.
There's a lot of same concepts we're good at. Boom. We got Tyler went to hook up. He had nobody to hook up on, but we send RJ to the post.
Right over the top. Nice catch.
Yeah. Well, RJ we go through this with RJ because it's unfortunate for RJ because he had to play a couple of games of quarterback because Zion got hurt and he was outstanding. But RJ only ended his career with 93 catches, and I felt bad for that. Just freeze it for a second. So he ends up short of that because he's got a shot. He comes into wrestling season with 72 wins, and he's already got over 100 goals. So we thought he was going to be a 100 kid. So we kind of had to take the, I mean, he was. I think this year he was over 1,000 on offense this year. He had over 100. He had over 100 tackles as a safety, but he's a really good player. But RJ and I go at this all the time. He says, "You think you could have dove and caught that ball when you were in high school?" I said, "No." He says, "I knew I was better than you or something." I said, "I wouldn't have had to dive."
Yeah, exactly. I would have caught it in stride and been banging my head on the goal.
That's the thing, because he doesn't run track, he still struggles with running. So Dave, you understand it. The kid that stumbles towards the finish line in the quarter because he overstrides as opposed to shooting the stride. So as opposed to the PV quarterback who triple jumped almost 47 feet as a sophomore, he's in that thigh to parallel all the time movement.
Yeah.
And he runs violently. He's the first quarterback. Well, Esvez did it too, but the kid from PV may either get contacted by DYFUS or an assault charge because he runs so hard. He runs so hard. Like it's fun watching him run. Like, oh, he's going to truck the kid. And you're saying,
like Walter Payton-ish.
Nah, he's like Eric Dickers. He's just
upright.
Cool. And when you watch him run,
big knees.
Yeah,
violent runner, like a violent guy.
That's
like
I ran the ball when I was a running back in high school. I ran.
Listen, as a safety, those are the motherfuckers to tackle, dude.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of knees. So when I see him, I keep thinking to myself, he's only a junior. I mean, and again, Billy Weigel's coaching the quarterbacks and running the offense there, and Billy's got a really good mind.
He spent a couple years at Lakeland. I had a lot of conversations with Bill.
Billy Wild is over at PV.
Billy Weigel, not Billy.
He's running their offense, right?
Yeah, he's got a really good mind.
Bill Weigel, WEIGL.
Wasn't he at Paramus at some point, Coach?
He was, but I think he's in a really good spot for him right now, and he's a good mind. And again,
he's a great coordinator.
Yeah, so and he really utilizes this young man really well. But I'm impressed. I said when you watch them play, it's really exciting. Except they're running over your kids.
Yeah. You want to be like, wow, that's great, but it's like, oh, that's my guy.
All right, this is Westwood again, just a balanced set. All right, safeties are a little deep, but we're gonna and I'll go through with you. Just pause it right here. All right, the ball's snapped on the 10 on the 12. What our kids instructed for in your basic, where the ball's not down here, all right, where the ball is in, let's say on a 30, that we need that ball thrown between 16 and 18 yards against a too high safety. And we usually have a flattened player. And we'll just go through this because, again, I'm not telling anybody anything you don't know. We're running double vertical, so there will not be a flat player, okay? Because they're going to match, because people are running match right now. So
I can't believe
they're playing cover 2 on you in the goal line.
Correct. But it's a good thing because, again, for them, it's a good thing. We need to split safeties better. We need to run the ball well down there. But we're also in a time crunch here. So if you run it back, generally you should throw 16 to 18. Here the ball's got to be thrown. I would have liked to see the ball thrown at 8.
Yeah.
But he's got to throw it here because I don't know if the D&D is 4th down. So
got it. Oh, okay. Got it.
He's taught throw the ball to the boundary.
It's a great catch.
Yeah, he makes them all year. All right, so we motion here. We got 2x2.
Nice to have one of those guys, Coach. Nice to have one of those guys.
Yeah. So 2x2, we motion out. This is against Mendham. He's attacking the middle of the field again. We got an under and over there, and he puts the ball there. So, and really, he could have thrown the ball to the flat.
I was just going to say, would you have rather him take that?
I'm afraid of tagging things, and I probably tag too much because when you if a kid trusts you, when you run a tag, he's going to throw the tag. So I would say this is probably one of the least places you should have thrown the ball. But again, if you look at the down distance, he kind of has to because the flat player's open, and there's a shallow player, number 4, running to the other side, and he's wide open too.
Is this a
mesh Coach? Concept? Is it for you?
It's completely a mesh concept.
Right. So you and when you're having them run this mesh, they're not looking to rub on the mesh, right? So they're looking to continue on the space
until like if you looked at the kid crossing the field on the other side, until he's encountered, and then he should become a pivot guy.
Okay.
Right.
All right. But we're over under in the inside linebackers because they're wall offs. All right. So Dean gets there I think it's Dean. It might be RJ.
Would you have rather the guy that caught the ball? Would you have rather him pop to that next window, Coach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he should have. But he didn't.
And also another thing, quick. If this is say this plays in the first quarter, would you rather him? I know you said tags and whatnot, but hey, let's take what they give us, throw the ball to the flat early on, and then eventually that'll open up something later.
I think I just let him play. I mean, I let him play. So when you have all those meshes underneath, the bottom line is your escape is going to have linebackers running the wrong way, so you can just run.
Yeah,
it's easy. But he does a nice job of stepping up in the pocket, so he gets a good window. He's got to improve on some things. And Derek and I spoke before you came on, Dave, and it's pretty loud around here right now. I don't know if I'm coming back. I think you just get to a point where, hey, you got to make some decisions. But these are wonderful kids. But Zion's certainly a reason for wanting to come back. But there's always a kid. But right. I think he still has a lot of.
Of course, we can always find that one guy.
Yeah. And the great thing about the kids is they're like, if he stays, it's one more guy I don't want to deal with. So it's kind of the opposite. They're like, boy, if he left, I'd be really happy. If he's here, I'll be really sad. But
listen, some of those parents go the other way too.
Well, yeah, but the other thing for the kids is, when he's saying horrible things about me, what bothers me the most is it's absolutely hilarious. So I can't help but laugh at myself because he's making fun of himself. So that's
correct.
Kind of real.
I'm with you.
So here we got trips into the boundary, and we got a stack outside, and this is against PV. So we're just giving it.
I like this concept.
We're giving a different presentation, and you'll see. So we're putting a kid underneath and putting a kid over the top. RJ breaks his route, because he finds space well. And again, the kid's playing on one leg.
Right. And you know how those high ankle sprains are, right? Because that's what it was, a high ankle. Yeah. Those are miserable because they all it takes is one ding, one whatever, and it's literally the entire season.
Yeah. So,
you can spat it.
On the other side, where you have the double cross and then the guy running the out, right? So that's more window dressing there. Is he automatically going?
No, I think RJ originally was going to go higher than number 6 was.
Okay.
And then he saw the space and saw Zion in a little bit of distress, and he just, I don't even call it scramble. We don't even call this a scramble drill. We refer to this as it's an extend the play drill. Big difference.
That's amazing. Yeah, I like that. And I always tell the guys, like, scramble, the scramble rules and all that. That's the best play in football, right? Because you know what's going on. They don't, right? Like any other play. But now you have just what's considered chaos for the defense is now, look, you guys are so, conditioned and taught and coached that this is just part of a play for you.
Correct. And I think you have to make sure that's you got to let them go out there. And as you know, Derek, just go up and down the field and play. With you sitting in the stands, it's great. But I would say with this group of receivers we had, again, Datsy number 4, he's pretty special in terms of understanding space. RJ obviously has an incredible skill set, and some other guys developed. I would say that the kids next year are often younger, and I think we have a tight end that we're going to we have this kid Michael DeGroat coming back, who I think can be
Nice.
special. But my point is, I think some of the younger perimeter kids that are going to be sophomores are. I mean, again, I can advertise for Riverdale. I think there's a couple of kids there that are just really, really special. And they got some quarterbacks coming out of that freshman class too.
And Coach, not to go off topic, do you have to worry about those guys leaving?
No, I don't think so. I think, again, we do have enough legacies here. Like I can go through it. If 51's dad played at Riverdale, 56 is at Westlake. So, he was never going to leave. But 51's graduating. 54 is back. He's going to be a really good player. He's not going anywhere. 79 is another 3-year starter. He ain't going anywhere. And 50 is going to play sprint. So he's going to either
Caldwell
or St. Thomas Aquinas. Probably, I don't know which one he's going to go to.
We got to get him to Matt Sakis, Dave. We got to get him over there.
Yeah. So you can see so we're running this against PV, and again, it's the same kind of concept. And again, it's a kid's highlight film. It's amazing the passes you can make.
You run a ton of crosser concepts.
Yeah, I love crossers.
I think from the time I coached
mesh,
even in that's become a lot more of what you're doing. That's interesting.
Well, I know I saw Derek play. I never saw David play because I came the year after he finished high school. But one of the things is, we watch these guys on TV. But imagine David. Now I know Derek would like that. Gets the ball on the run, moving across field, go play football. It's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
It's like getting an option pitch, and if the quarterback reads it right, you're not getting killed. But imagine David getting in on the move,
right?
All right, and catching the ball and being able to go play football. I mean, now that's scary.
Yeah, and that was always the thing when you had that super back or back that could go out there in that slot and run your mesh concepts, and you can get him that easy pitch catch, go do what you do, make that first guy miss, and now we're out the gates. It just adds a whole different level. I mean, now you could motion him out there, and now the defense is, there's just so many things you can do when you have that guy that can get in space or find space.
I originally did it when I had a kid at Glen Rock who was pretty dynamic, a kid named Robbie Grammer.
He broke his leg. Listen, that's probably one of the reasons we won the game, for Christ's sake. He was out there for the coin toss in a freaking boot. He broke his leg.
But if when he catch the ball on that,
I think against you, Dave, at Saddlebrook when you guys in that game.
You don't want to drag up bad memories here.
No, that's a bad memory. That's a bad memory for everybody.
Everybody.
And again, I think though when we get the ball to Robbie, I started seeing more teams do it. They're like, you know what? Saddlebrook would be a great example of that. Now all of a sudden you got Lucas Cuellar running.
Lucas Cuellar.
I mean, this is not fair.
They did it once when I was a junior in high school. There was a team that was better than us. We were playing, and just to they didn't think we could really block them effectively, and they just put me out in
slot
space. I had like 7 catches for like 180 or 190.
Well, I think the other thing
I never played it again, though. I never played slot again. But it was
I think the thing with the shallows is there's a few things. One, you can practice them. It does a few things because you can put cows in each side of the ball, have 2 quarterbacks. There's not a lot of stress on the quarterback's arm.
Right.
You can do it against pressure in practice, so the quarterback's got to work on pocket presence. Receivers start to understand space better, right? And here's the last thing. You can run the receivers into the ground because you got so many guys can run routes. So, and they all end up different. All right. So if you get the kid who understands how to pivot, and then you might find a guy who right now is running from the left to the right as you look here, and he's like, "Screw this! I'm going down the tracks, man."
Right.
So you get all those things. But again, I mean, the kid just makes plays. I mean,
I want to do one more clip because I do have to jump off. I want to do a part 2 on this because this is phenomenal. But let's do one more clip here, and then we'll jump off and we'll do another one. Whenever.
I'll never forget Nutley's Field.
You're retired, so you got free time, DJ. So
Nutley's Field, you got Main Street running right there behind you, the stands. You're like,
we opened them up on a Thursday night, but we're running again.
Oh, gee, you're kidding.
First game of the year, yeah. So we're gonna open. I guess we're opening up with them on Thursday night at our place. But so we're an empty bunch. We were running a lot of rocket toss, and
that's what the motion is for. Okay.
Yeah, and then fake the toss, hit the. What is that a corner route you're running there?
Well, we got a 3-man flood.
Yep.
Yep.
And we have
High, medium, low. There it
we
is.
actually have pretty good spacing here.
Yeah, you do have
Yeah,
good space.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a throw, dude. To his left.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Dave,
good.
look at that. Dave, look, that's a Mahomes backpedaling to the sideline, let it fly.
But I also think that,
But he sets his feet.
He's so strong. I mean, he's so strong. You watch one morning.
You have the backs.
Yeah, you need a strong arm to make that.
We have the backside post too.
You have the backside post too on this. And now, what is your conversation with it?
High low.
Going to the left is different than going to the right in the sense
he does almost all his work going to the left because he's got to recruit all of his body. When he goes to his right, he'll get sloppy like every kid going down side. And
everybody thinks going to the right for a righty is the easiest thing in the world, and it's not because like you said, they get sloppy with it. Whereas going to the other way, now you're more heady in terms of I got to get my shoulders downhill. I need to have my feet you're just thinking more about it.
Involved in the throw, your hips and your leg.
Well, I'll say this as because Dave's going to go, but there's a few things. We'll stop on this one, but there's a few things. Got to see some good quarterbacks this year. Obviously, the sophomore from Old Pan is special. Obviously, Alex Orecchio is as good a high school football player as I've seen in a while. He played quarterback, receiver, wherever they needed to. Really, what position did he play? He played win. He's fantastic. And then, of course, we see the young fella from Pascack Valley. I've got to see the kid from mainland. I thought he was good. I'll tell you who I thought was really good. I was very, very impressed. This is again, not dismissing anybody that we played. I thought what the Mendham guys did with their kid, I thought he was excellent on film. He was way better in person. All right. And then I thought the kid from Passaic Valley, the Hornets, I thought he was good on film, and he's back too.
And they bring a lot of guys back, Coach.
Oh yeah, and we didn't play against number 4. He was hurt.
Yeah,
so, I mean, but I thought he was really good. Again, I'm just looking at it from a technical standpoint. And Dave kids about me being retired, but when you're retired, or you're not, you definitely don't have skin in the game. You can understand the fundamentals and enjoy them a little more than when you're just trying to win the game. So, but I would love to do this. We go through again. I think it's a great teaching thing for people. I do, and I have no problem because I think a lot of guys are doing this because I'm stealing from guys, and there's a lot of conversation there, and it's
good. It's evergreen content. You know what I mean? This, and I'm gonna try and cut up each one of the plays too. Yeah. So each play is its own little video, and so it gives people like I'm gonna kind of make on my YouTube a little Coach Nimphius folder here, and kind of put your kind of breakdowns in that, and so not only for obviously the people that the YouTube page has become so huge, and we're over 1 million subscribers. Can you believe that, DJ?
He's big time, Coach. He's big time now.
I can, and this is enjoyable for you guys too. And I know,
it is.
And you're trying
hell yeah.
But what difference is you guys are producing purposeful content.
Yes.
And you
it's
generally
not clickbait.
and I don't think you're bringing guys in like, again, I'm older now. If I'm at Glen Rock, I'm going to show you how much I know. If I'm here, I'm going to try to utilize of how we're trying to highlight players, which we were doing there at Glen Rock. So, but my ego's not in there now.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, Coach. No, I know. I saw you when you were trying to, pound the chest a little bit.
That's
because I wasn't the world's fattest thin man like I am now.
Nice. I like that. I was like, can I use that? Because I sure as hell isn't.
It's a big part of the when you're learning from someone like you, like the fact that you're able to. That's the thing that I learned is like the players are a huge part of getting that concept to work that you're running, right? So, like. It's great. Well, I tell this all the time, and I gotta run off this. But I tell this all the time. So when I first came to the first time I came to Warrior, which was 2004, and you gave me a bunch of Montana versus I can't remember who it was, and all that stuff, and you said take a look at this, and then you gave me I can't think of the quarterback that you had. He was short, stocky kid. He was unbelievable at Glen Rock.
Scott Stevens.
Scott Stevens. That was it. So I got the Scott Stevens film, and I don't know what ended up happening to that, but he gave me the Scott Stevens film. I watched it, And I thought, then I ended up going to Saddlebrook, right? So I thought when I went to Saddlebrook as a head coach, I'm like, all right, I'm going to install this Scott Stevens stuff. My guy's going to get to the outside, and if it's not there, he's just going to waltz his way down the field for a touchdown like Scott Stevens. And you realize how special someone like Scott Stevens was, because he made those concepts that you ran, which were unbelievable run shoot concepts. But he made, when things broke down, he made things work. He made it, honestly, it's crazy to say this, but he actually made it look easy. I hate to say that because it's not easy. It's not what he was doing. But he made it look easy. He was so effortless in how he played the game, even though he was a sawed-off kid. Like, his running wasn't effortless. Like, he's a stocky runner. Yeah. He's a running back kind of guy. But he made the game. He played the game effortlessly. Like, guy shows open, boom, like that little out concept on the flood used to run. Boom, he throws it right to him. And so it's really interesting to hear you say, like, the players make your concepts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really, really work, and
they give you a full sense of like, hey, I'm going to be able to do this with every guy that plays quarterback.
But Dave, as you go, you know that all starts up front. So I mean, if you go back to the South days, and we can name drop Anthony Pomo, and then when you went back and Steve was your quarterback,
right?
I mean, okay, so you understood that, but if you go back to when Pavel was playing quarterback.
Pavel and Timmerman. Yeah, Pavel. Yeah.
Timmerman was a stud.
And Coach Knapp's kid.
Yep.
Do you remember how violent you guys were?
Who was that? Was that Bobby, Dave?
Yeah, Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you learned so much from those guys. I mean, and you learned so much from, John Iorato running the inverted wishbone. And I actually coached against that as an assistant when I knew really nothing. I mean, now I know mostly nothing. But when Vic Paternoster was coaching up at Pope John. So you see how guys utilize that. And then I'll give you one last thing. The American Football Coaches Association just released a Division III All-American team.
Yeah.
Second team split end is a kid named Towson Smith. He's a split end for the Merchant Marine that runs a triple option.
Yes, they do.
I think he averaged for his career close to like 22 yards a catch.
I mean, shit, you saw Army, Navy, Air Force. They're doing shit this year that the people haven't done in a long time.
Well, correct. But I mean, that's my point. So utilizing personnel, when you have Towson Smith, I guess we should throw the ball because, as you know,
right,
you're going to get a lot of singles out there. I mean, the kid Joe Klaus is as good a defensive coordinator as you're going to find, right?
Right.
But he had to defend the kid. We would talk during the week, but again, they don't need my help. But Joe just likes to put things by. That's why he says coach. Joe has
That's why what your role, Dave, worked so well.
But Joe just likes to call and talk football.
He likes to talk football, yeah.
Yeah, and he simply said, look, what do you think about number 8 in their team? He said he's really strong to the ball. He's a junior, but they're in a wing T concept. So essentially, that kid's on an island the whole game. I mean, I don't care what you're going to do. You're going to put a second guy out there and play cover 2 and jam. They'll run the ball on you every single play.
Right.
So and he was an issue. All right, listen, get yourself going.
Yep.
And let me know if you want to do this again.
I definitely do. I'll shoot you a text and we'll figure out another day to do it and keep going because this is phenomenal.
Yeah, 100%, Coach. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.